Press play. He's the voice of the intersection of marketing, tech, and popular culture. Thinking is his commodity. DJ, data punk, stylish sock collector, and author of the book Disruptive Marketing. Jeffrey Cologne is your host of Disruptive FM, the marketing podcast for eccentric minds.
It's another episode of Disruptive FM, the marketing podcast for eccentric minds. I'm your host, Jeffrey Cologne, broadcasting live from the campus of Microsoft in Redmond, Washington. This is episode 56, and in this episode, we're going to ask the question, is Twitter going to be sold? A lot of press lately about this. In fact, 3 companies have said they've been looking to possibly take over Twitter, or at least put in a buy for Twitter if the stock remains at a low point. That is Salesforce, Google, and Microsoft. We'll look into a little bit more of this and see if this is all part of Jack Dorsey's grand plan. Advertising Week, New York 2016. It's coming up. In fact, if you're listening to this podcast, I recorded it right before I stepped on a plane to head to New York. We'll talk about the 4 Microsoft sessions that you need to attend. And if you want to know what 4 overall sessions you should attend, check out episode 55, where I give my objective viewpoint of the 4 top sessions you need to be at. We'll also look at the hustle myth. What is happening in the world of marketing, it appears, is many experts or gurus, these sort of self-described mavens, explaining to people that hustle is the way to make it in this new world of the 21st century. We'll look at that and call that BS, and I'll explain why. Also, our reading list, 3 books you should be reading this month, the month of September, and why you should be reading them. And then also where I'll be next week at Advertising Week. There are a number of different events that are going on, but if you want to track my whereabouts and you actually want to meet up with me in person and not follow me on Twitter, I'll tell you where I'll be from Monday to Friday. All that and more on this episode of Disruptive FM. Hey, Disruptive FM listeners, don't forget we are on Twitter. You can follow us at Disruptive FM. You can follow me at DJGEOFFE. And of course, to find out where I am on social media, check us out on the website disruptivefm.net or jeffreycologne.net. That's GEOFFREYCOLON.net. All right. So, the big news is Twitter going to be sold. This has been out there for months. And of course, there were a lot of people talking about the fact that Twitter stock, if it got low enough, that a large company would come in and probably take it over in hostile takeover fashion, which for those who are listeners who might be wondering, what does a hostile takeover mean? Let's think back to a fictitious movie that explained it all, which is Wall Street. If you think about Gordon Gekko in that movie, for those who have seen it, he swoops in and buys Blue Star Airlines when the stock is low. Of course, he knows the stock is going to dip because he's illegally using insider trading information. And then, of course, he destroys the company, tries to break up the union, sell it off for parts, etc. This is not going to be the case, I think, if someone tries to take it over. I don't think it'll be a hostile takeover. I think they're just waiting for the price to dip so that they can get a decent return on investment. But there are talks also that Jack Dorsey is looking for a buyer, that he thinks this is the right time to sell. that the stock is at a decent place again, mainly due to some really good deals around streaming services, some content deals with the NFL, some integration with Periscope, and the fact that user growth isn't, it's not out of the world, but it's not dipping anymore. It's starting to incrementally grow again. So there's definitely interest there. It's part of our culture and psyche, which is important. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I actually find it really relevant for all real-time news and real-time search. I actually think it is the best platform for real-time search. Destroys Google and Bing in this area. And which is one of the reasons why Google is so interested in buying it. I think they see something that maybe the other players don't, which is the ad product has really good targeting around interest. You can reach people who might be following specific publishers or other influencers on the platform. And then the promoted ads that you are seeing are relevant to you, at least from an interest level. So I think that might be interesting if they do go after Twitter, is how they roll that into real-time search phenomena. The other player that has been noted in terms of wanting to go after Twitter is Salesforce. Now, this is interesting to a lot of people because they look at Salesforce as this enterprise software as a solution, customer relationship management company. So, many people are like, why Twitter? And of course, those people who are always asking are the ones that don't use Twitter. They don't understand the robust richness of the platform in terms of a lot of the data that exists there. I think Salesforce might see it as an area to data mine for information. They could get a lot of really good info from a lot of the companies that are there and then use that within their software as a service tool. No different than how Microsoft probably viewed LinkedIn when it acquired it a couple months ago for a $26.9 billion price tag. Of course, there is rumors, and I don't know any information, folks, even though I might work for the company. I'm not in on the inside deals, but there is also rumor that Microsoft might be snooping around to possibly put in a bid for Twitter. That remains to be seen. If that is the case, I do see it also from a perspective of how they roll Twitter into Bing for real-time search, and then also how they use some of that data to create this powerhouse SaaS platform that really would be difficult for Salesforce or any other company to compete in this space. So it's interesting to see how Microsoft is actually pivoting into this marketing CRM company, which is interesting considering there aren't a lot of people who I think understand that model at many companies, including Microsoft. But the pivot is happening, and it is very interesting. So curious for your thoughts in this area. Will Twitter be sold? Will they stay independent for a period of time? If they're sold, again, they have no choice on this matter. If someone buys their stock, they do have choice if they sell outright. But who should buy them? Who is the best company to buy them? Curious for your thoughts. Tweet to us at DisruptiveFM or use the hashtag DisruptiveFM to be part of the conversation. Advertising Week 2016 in New York. It is taking place. There are 4 sessions that you will need to attend in terms of what Microsoft is doing. So I would love to see you at one of these sessions if you can make it. Of course, in episode 55, if you go back and listen to that episode, you can hear where I think you should attend, the 4 sessions you should attend that are of all the sessions at Advertising Week. So I didn't want you to think that I was just being a homer, which is a term for, rooting for the home team, by listing the 4 events that Microsoft is having at Advertising Week. I'm just listing this on this particular episode because I want to let people know where I will be if you want to meet up in person. For my objective viewpoint on the sessions, the 4 sessions that you need to attend for the overall week of Advertising Week, go back and listen to episode number 55. So Monday, I will be at the Bing stage at 11 Times Square. We have sort of squatted this area for the entire week, which is going to be really awesome. And that's where you can find me for the majority of the time. But at 2 o'clock, Understanding Intent in the Age of Digital. It's 2 o'clock at the Bing stage at 11 Times Square is the address. And then at 2:45, I'll be over at Thomson Reuters at 3 Times Square, attending the Key to Next Generation Femvertising, so female advertising. That is put on by She Knows, which is a group I've worked with for a really long time, so you need to check that out. Tuesday, Janes of Digital, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. You can RSVP for that event. I believe there's a wait list for that event, but at janesofdigital.org you can RSVP for this event. So I'm not going to list where the location is, because you should just go to the website and RSVP and see if you can actually get in. That's 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday night. Janes of Digital. Go to janesofdigital.org to RSVP. Wednesday, I will be at 2 events. 2 p.m., a dispatch from the future of search on the Times Center stage. That is a presentation from the Bing consumer team, Ryan Gavin and Bonnie McCracken. And then at 3:30 p.m., you can catch me on the Brand Innovators Megatrends panel. That's over at A.T. Kearney, their offices at 7 Times Square. That's Wednesday at 3:30. Thursday, well, actually, let me backtrack here for a second. Wednesday night is the Advertising Week concert, of which we are a sponsor. Check the Advertising Week site for details. The artist that is performing is Common, so hopefully we will see you there. Thursday, 10:30 a.m., Search Advertising in a Digital Nomadic Society. That is on the Bing stage. I'll be with Christy Olson, our search evangelist, at 11 Times Square. So hopefully that's not confusing. 10:30 in the morning, that starts. The location is 11 Times Square, the Microsoft offices. And then I am going to run over at 11 a.m. to B.B. King at 237 West 42nd Street to be on the Disrupt the Disruptors panel. This is put on by John Bond's new agency, Tomorrow. So those are the big ones that I will be at. Of course, I'm also at the Times Center for a majority of the time. We have a room there that we're doing a lot of video interviews and testimonials with some chief marketing officers, some vice presidents, some people from the executive level. So if you want to be part of that, definitely ping me on Twitter at DJGEOFFE. I am ending the week Friday at doing a fireside chat at a private event in Maplewood, New Jersey. So if for some reason you want to attend that and you live out in the South Orange, Maplewood area of the geography, let me know. I would be glad for you to attend. So yeah, it'll be a busy week. And of course, I'll be broadcasting live for much of that on the Bing Ads Facebook page. You can go to facebook.com/Bing Ads. Also follow on Twitter at Bing Ads. I'll be on my own Twitter at DJGEOFFE. And yeah, a lot of activity, a lot of things happening. Hopefully you'll be able to attend one of those and we'll be able to meet up. So this leads nicely into the next session here, which is all about, hey, Jeff, you're at all these events. You're definitely hustling next week. Yes, but there is this whole movement now around what we are calling in marketing the hustle myth. And this is more targeted around people as marketers more than how you do your marketing. A lot of gurus, self-described experts out there that say all you need to do to be successful in this new world is to hustle. Now, of course, I'm reading a really great book, or I've read a good book, portions of it, from Angela Duckworth called Grit. And I don't think she's saying the same thing that many other marketing experts are saying. She's not saying, hey, all you need to do is hustle and you will be successful. What she's really saying in her book is, if you have intelligence and you put grit to it, you probably will drive through more than those who are just backing up their findings with intelligence. There is a tendency of too many marketing presentations that I see now to just say you got to hustle, you got to work hard, you got to do all this. And it doesn't add up. And the reason why is the 21st century model in which we are in now is really around the network effect. Now, this has always existed. It's just that I think many people in certain economics circles will say, oh, it's really based on an individual and what they do to make things happen. And if they just work hard and they hustle, well, things will come to them. But you could do all those things and not be within a specific network, and you will not go anywhere. So what we're seeing more and more of, and what I actually want to back up, is I'm going to go on the record at many of the events that I might be speaking at this year, especially at some of the digital summits, some of the other marketing conferences, and say that hustle is BS. It is totally applied from this manner in which people may have gotten successful on their own from hustling, but they didn't really look and see that they were within a systemic network that helped them get there. And so now we have to really look at the fact that the network effect is bigger than ever. It always has been. 25 years ago when I graduated from college, I remember my mom saying to me, hey, you need to build a network, you need to sustain a network, you need to keep growing that network. That network effect will help lead to new opportunities. The only way that you can create that network is through communicating with others. Of course, back then it required physically being around people. You didn't have social networks. The internet was only enabled with community forums in which many people were anonymous. We now live in a world, of course, where that network effect can be created at a much faster rate on a variety of different platforms. LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Tumblr, you name it, it can be created. But it's not just about the digital network. It's also how you parlay that digital network into actually meeting people face to face, where you can create and foster a connection. And we know that's very important. So I'm going to go on the record and say, stop listening to marketers telling you how you're going to get ahead or how you're going to compete and how you're going to thrive is by hustling. No, you're going to thrive by creating a network, growing that network, and sustaining that network. Let's actually run an A/B test like all good growth hackers and modern marketers do in this day and age, and see which one comes true. I think you'll be surprised when you find out that hustling is just going to leave you tired. Reading list for September, you got to check this book out. Rise of the Robots, Technology and the Threat of a Jobless Future. Martin Ford is the author. It's the Business Book of the Year 2015 winner from McKinsey & Company. I will read the back cover of this. You got to check this book out. It's out on paperback now. I actually picked this up at Newark Airport and read it on the 6-hour flight back to Seattle when I was in New York a couple weeks ago for the Bing Agency Awards. What are the jobs of the future? How many will there be? And who will have them? As technology continues to accelerate and machines begin taking care of themselves, fewer people will be necessary. Artificial intelligence is already well on its way to making good jobs obsolete. Many paralegals, journalists, office workers, and even computer programmers are poised to be replaced by robots and smart software. As progress continues, blue and white-collar jobs alike will evaporate, squeezing working and middle-class families even further. At the same time, households are under assault from exploding costs, especially from the two major industries, education and healthcare. Actually, I would name a third one that they don't have on this book, housing. Housing in some areas is out of control. Seattle, can't even live in Seattle without dropping $1 million on a piece of property. But I digress. So far, let me back up here. So from the two major industries, education and healthcare, that so far have not been transformed by information technology. The result could well be massive unemployment and inequality, as well as the implosion of the consumer economy itself. The past solutions to technological disruption, especially more training and education, aren't going to work. We must decide now whether the future will see broad-based prosperity or catastrophic levels of inequality and economic insecurity. Rise of the Robots is essential reading to understand what accelerating technology means for our economic prospects, not to mention those of our children, as well as for society as a whole. And the Los Angeles Times notes that this is lucid, comprehensive, and unafraid. Rise of the Robots is an indispensable contribution to a long-running argument. The Financial Times, well-researched and disturbingly persuasive. And the author, Martin Ford, he is the founder of a Silicon Valley-based software development firm. Has over 25 years of experience in computer design and software development. He's the author of The Lights in the Tunnel, Automation, Accelerating Technology, and the Economy of the Future. And he lives in Sunnyvale, California. So check out this book, and you can follow Martin on Twitter at mfordfuture. This book will really open your eyes because it doesn't, not everything here is rosy. And I think that's what it's getting to, which is really important. My second book on my reading list here, Angela Duckworth's Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. And I will read the inside here in terms of why you need to check this book out. This one was actually sent to me by the team at Mirren Media. I spoke at one of their events, and they sent this as a thank you gift, saying that they had everyone read this in their organization. In this must-read book for anyone striving to succeed, pioneering psychologist Angela Duckworth shows parents, students, educators, athletes, and business people, both seasoned and new, that the secret to outstanding achievement is not talent, but a special blend of passion and persistence she calls grit. Drawing on her own powerful story as the daughter of a scientist who frequently noted her lack of genius, Duckworth, now a celebrated researcher and professor, describes her early eye-opening stints in teaching business consulting and neuroscience, which led to the hypothesis that what really drives success is not genius, but a unique combination of passion and long-term perseverance. In Grit, she takes readers into the field to visit cadets struggling through their first days at West Point, teachers working in some of the toughest schools, and young finalists in the National Spelling Bee. She also mines fascinating insights from history and shows what can be gleaned from modern experiments in peak performance. Finally, she shares what she's learned from interviewing dozens of high achievers, from J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon to New Yorker cartoon editor Bob Mankoff to Seattle Seahawks coach Pete Carroll. Among Grit's most valuable insights, why any effort you make ultimately counts twice toward your goal. How grit can be learned regardless of IQ or circumstances. How lifelong interest is triggered. How much of optimal practice is suffering and how much is ecstasy. Which is better for your child, a warm embrace or high standards? The magic of the hard thing rule. Winningly personal, insightful, and even life-changing. Grit is a book about what goes through your head when you fall down, and how that, not talent or luck, makes all the difference. So, those of you who may have read Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, this is actually a really good extension of that and makes it a lot more personal. And she's got great reviews. Daniel Gilbert, who wrote one of my favorite books, Stumbling on Happiness, Reviews the book Susan Cain, author of Quiet, Malcolm Gladwell, Daniel Pink, Dan Heath, Amy Cuddy. A lot of really good authors here that basically state things that this book will change your life. Fascinating, rigorous, and practical. Grit is destined to be a classic in the literature of success. So, Angela Duckworth, Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. That is my second book on my reading list. First book, of course, is Rise of the Robots, Martin Ford. Grit by Angela Duckworth is second. And third is my own book, Disruptive Marketing, What Growth Hackers, Data Punks, and Other Hybrid Thinkers Can Teach Us About Navigating the New Normal. What happens to your Twitter strategy when people skip branded messages? What happens to a digital ad campaign when they install ad blocking software? How will you get through to customers in the future? While no one has all the answers, thinkers and doers pushing the edges of marketing agree on this. The industry shakeups are far from done, and even the most up-to-date digital plan will soon be irrelevant. When tech upstarts are reshaping mass media, when social networks are altering consumer behavior, when wearables and the Internet of Things are poised for takeoff, it's time to throw out old playbooks and embrace disruption. Part freewheeling roadmap of an industry in flux, part mind-bending glimpse into the future. Disruptive marketing unburdens you from conventional planning and an agency mentality and helps you cultivate the mindset and skills you need for a thriving business. Written by a digital marketing pioneer, Disruptive Marketing introduces you to the ideas, interviews, new realities, and evolving trends that illustrate the 4 keys to disruptive marketing. Why ads don't matter anymore. How a quiet, enchanted state grabs attention. How our anti-organization age impacts brands. What unicorns can tell us about the creative economy. Why MFAs can outproduce MBAs. How tinkering created Tumblr. Why distribution comes before content at BuzzFeed. What producerism is doing to customers. What big data can and cannot do. Why feelings rule, and more. Few people like change, even creative people. But change is here, and it can be more exciting than scary. Disruptive marketing helps you toss tired brand marketing approaches, rethink what you're doing, and find unexplored, unexpected ways to connect with customers on their own terms. Disrupt yourself and be prepared for anything. So that is my book. It is out now on hardcover, audio, and Kindle. And this review from Tim Sanders, who's the author of the book Love is the Killer App, which was a New York Times bestseller, notes, disruptive marketing transports you from marketing as usual into a world of hackers and subversives, where nothing is predictable but anything is possible. Jeffrey Colon delivers insights and new school strategies that will enable you to be the disruptor and not the disrupted. So that's my reading list for the month of September. Check those 3 books out. And hopefully you'll enjoy all of those. It'll be a lot of fun to see what your feedback is on that. And I'm definitely going to continue to make a list of books that you should read. I get a lot of people tweeting to me asking, hey, what book should I read next? A lot of people that send me text messages who are close to me, some people who send me or post things on my Facebook page asking me the same. So I figured I'd make a list of some books that you should check out. Again, if you want to know where I will be next week, I noted all of that on this particular podcast. So rewind and go back and take a listen to it. Monday at the Understanding Intent in the Age of Digital, 2 p.m. That is at the Bing stage, which is at 11 Times Square. Tuesday, Janes of Digital, 7:30 to 9:30. RSVP at janesofdigital.org. Wednesday, 2 p.m., a dispatch from the future of search on the Times Center stage. And then 3:30 at Brand Innovators Megatrends, which is at A.T. Kearney at 7 Times Square. Thursday, 2 panels, 10:30 in the morning. Search Advertising in a Digital Nomadic Society at 11 Times Square on the Bing stage, and then 11 o'clock Disrupt the Disruptors panel at BB King at 237 West 42nd Street, and Friday ending the week at a private event in Maplewood, New Jersey. Follow me on Twitter for all the details at DJ Jeffy. That's at DJ GEOFFE. And next episode, I will be recording live and direct from the noisy atmosphere of Advertising Week New York 2016. We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to an episode of Disruptive FM, the marketing podcast for eccentric minds. Remember to subscribe to the show on iTunes. Purchase a copy of Jeffrey's latest book, Disruptive Marketing, on Kindle, hardcover and audio. Signing off from the city of Seattle. Press pause.